Hello, hello.
What's up?
I believe episode 3 of the YouTube channel, Alpha Sports Performance. We appreciate those that have already subscribed. We appreciate those that will. We'll thank you in advance. The position that we stand here on YouTube is just to give our perspective on what we see in the fitness industry, the sports industry, the nutrition industry, the mindset industry. There's so much to talk about. Coach Daphne and myself, I think we're going to tap in to sports performance versus strength and conditioning. And I know this could be a touchy subject because, you know, we all like what we like. We are sports performance coaches, so we see through a different lens. So we're going to just kind of break that down today for anyone that may want some insight. And again, for those that like strength and conditioning, that's cool. We're giving our insight and we're giving you straight self evaluation, witnessing what sports performance has done for our athletes over, again,
Decades of time.
Yeah. So we're seeing it. We know what we're.
So what would you say is the glaring difference as a coach who's been in the industry for 30 plus years? Just give us a snapshot of sports performance, strength and conditioning, or some other things that are out there, and the differences.
I mean, really no disrespect. Strength and conditioning, ancient, old school, outdated. Like the coaches that I know that do strength and conditioning, most of them don't fit the bill that I would think they would, being that they say they're athletes. And that's not a knock. I'm not saying that. Me being a sports performance guy to the core, Coach Daphne as well, the performance side of what we do, like the things that we do and the way we train directly correlate to the sport. It's not that we're trying to have a PR. Like we're not looking for our deadlift to be a certain max or a bench press or a back squat. The things that we do directly benefit the sport that we're playing, the activity that we're playing. And this is just not for athletes. This is for humans that are walking upstairs, that have to carry groceries, that are chasing children, that just want to go for a walk, that doesn't want to be that one that has that slip and fall, you know, stepping off a curb or things like that. And sports performance is very, very current, very relevant in my experience. What about yours, Coach?
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm trying to think of ways to define this because, like you said, when you're used to operating in a certain way or you have a certain amount of knowledge in an area, it's assimilating new information and then putting that new information into application. And then over time, bearing the benefits and the results of that. So foundations for sports performance. What are some of the foundational principles that sports performance operates on? And what are some foundational principles that strength and conditioning operate on?
And this could be, they can kind of blend them if they want. This is just from my experience. Sports performance is balance and stability first. And that's in very different ways. We're not just talking about standing on one leg, right? That's what people are going to say. It's much more than that.
Or just use the Bosu ball.
Or just use the Bosu ball or use a foam board or anything like that. That's not what we're talking about. And then moving through multiple planes at once, under control, strong in every position, strong through every plane, under control through every plane. When I think of a barbell, and that barbell does not bend. There's just ways you're not going to move the barbell that we do with sports performance. So stability, balance, vestibular function, right? Proprioceptive measurements, things like that. That's very foundational for us. And then on the strength side, because we think of strength very differently, it's being able to maximize and move your own body weight very easily. That's kind of in a nutshell.
Is it fair to say the comparable to, or what the foundation of strength and conditioning is like what you said, hitting a PR? That's not necessarily all strength and conditioning,
Correct.
although that's the there are phases
Yeah.
for that and percentages based and all that. But what's the foundation there? What's the movement patterns or the certain exercises or the foundation? So that so we could just make the comparison.
Yeah, I mean, they say, it's balance and stability. They say that, but they go into very, very dominant phases of just strength, of like supporting that if you're stronger, you're going to be a better athlete with that barbell. That's just what I see.
Yeah.
There's tons of research why we wouldn't do a back squat as much as people promote a back squat. There's tons of research that show, but strength and conditioning, they live by it. Deadlifts, there's tons of research that backs why you would not do a max PR deadlift if you're in a sport. If you're lifting and that's your sport, yeah. But so that's to me been the differences. And I've been around hundreds and hundreds of strength and conditioning guys. And most of them just have this very old school, like when I see them train, they are training their athletes for 1960, for 2000. They're not, there's nothing in there that says 2025 and future thinking.
Future,
yeah, it's all, yeah, we've seen that. Athletes have been hurt by that. There has not been one athlete that has come out and that is their bread and butter. The things that we're seeing in the athletes that I trained, I've seen on TV and the ones that I like, they're doing sports performance, essentially, more than strength and conditioning. So,
right.
So you come from a background of fitness was always key to you. You started at a very young age. You did some CrossFit. Like you definitely have a well-rounded resume. I'm saying up to this point when we met from, before. So what's your take? What's the thing what we do that you see that is different, and give me a benefit of sports performance, one versus the
I love that it can be applied to an 8-year-old and it can be applied to a 65-year-old.
Yeah.
And everyone in between.
Yeah.
That's the biggest takeaway. How does our body really move, and how can we optimize every system in our body to perform when we call upon it and wake up feeling good?
Yeah.
And without the injuries. Like you had mentioned, some of the avenues I took in particular with CrossFit, I got a lot of injuries out of that. So
you hear the common theme, guys. Like, you talk to a lot of CrossFitters.
Yeah. And thank goodness for me, in some sense, I was able to minimize some of that or manage it, because I wasn't, I was just because of the way maybe I moved in that sport. But people who weren't, I always ate healthy, I had a good regimen, but a lot of the athletes, a lot of the top athletes, will say, you look at it now, shoulders, back, just aches and pains constantly, tons of tears, there's just a lot. And so is working out supposed to cause injury? So just because you're going for something that is, is muscle growth and, quality of life and, making sure that, you have a good fitness, regimen, is that supposed to cause injury? No, it's not supposed to. I guess anything that you abuse can lead to that. But I do believe that our bodies were created for movement. And so if you find the way that God naturally created us and you live in those parameters and you do everything you need to do, then you can live a strong, healthy life. And the way we have an integrated sports performance mentality and programming, that's what it's done.
Our athletes don't get hurt.
And our athletes don't get hurt.
And our athletes are very strong and unassuming sometimes too, right? They don't have, a bodybuilder physique. They don't have a CrossFitter physique, although we can say most of those people are taking enhancements, right? It's fair to say. We went to an event a while ago, doesn't matter what the event was, and we were talking to a bunch of CrossFitters, and their conversation was real silly because everyone was talking about how they were injured. And here, me and my wife, 48, 41, and we're just like kind of giggling because we're like if they wanted to do a physical fitness competition right then and there, we would have smoked everyone. And some of them are younger than us. And it's just interesting because some of even the best athletes, like I said, that I look up to, I know what they're doing. They're not giving out all the information on Instagram and things like that, but I've been in this game a long time. Coach Daphne has been exposed since I've been with her in a lot of different ways of how we're supposed to move. And she has taken a lot of the stuff I have produced, and she's took it to another level. They say that a woman is like an incubator. They will take what a man gives them, and they will always give back a better finished product. And so a lot of the stuff that we do now is because Coach Daphne really understands the evolution of the human body and how, because of what we do, every piece builds upon every piece. There is no finish to this thing, right? There's infinite ways. Our training program is infinite. We'll give you any athlete. No one will say they do the same thing. And yet everyone is changing. Everyone is feeling better. Everyone is creating better range of motion. PRs are going up. Verticals are improving. Speed. Like we have 100 testimonies of athletes that just are getting better.
And I wanted you to really think of that mindset. Like, the reason why, especially as an athlete, you train is because the sport itself is already physical. Mm-hmm. So you're in a sport that is physical. So outside of that, you're eating, you're training, everything you do outside of that is supposed to prime and prep and smooth out the edges and get you prepared for the physicality. So if you're getting hurt or injured outside of that, that is a sign that something you're doing is not correct. So, I would just be aware of that. Athletes, as you're going to places, as you're looking, don't just go to places in your town that have a hot name. Like, what are some questions that maybe they can ask a facility or where they're going? Let's just say maybe they're not around Longwood, because if you're around Longwood, you should come ask us. But if let's just say they're far and they can't make it, what should they be looking out for? Well,
you're looking out for that very obvious old school mentality. Lift heavy and lift fast, right? That's the guy that you're terrified of. I know this is going to ruffle some feathers, but if you have a coach, male or female, and they're telling you about fitness and they look a little out of shape or you look better than them, that's a first sign. Sorry for all my coaches. It's not personal. If you can't stay in shape, I don't know how you can teach it. And I'm saying above average, right? Sure, above average physiques.
You're a coach. What does that mean? A coach means you live, you breathe, your education, your knowledge, your years of experience.
You've done.
Yes.
Right? You've done these movement patterns.
You're bringing that to the table to show somebody. Yeah. See, it works well in finances. For some reason, everybody gets it. Yeah. If you want to make more in your finances or hand your finances over to a financial advisor and that person is broke, do you trust their advice? And everyone will be like, well, absolutely not. They're broke. It makes sense. But in fitness, that's the same correlation. Yeah. If you can't apply, if these principles are so great and so good and so healthy for you, but you can't apply them to your own life, then there's something missing there. It's going to be hard for us to say that coach can really get you to the next level.
Right. And there's those that are also, it's because there's two different type of coaches, to be honest. There's coaches that live it out. We teach what we do. Then there's other ones that may have lost like 50 pounds. And all of a sudden they connect that emotional attachment, like, oh, see, I lost 50 pounds, so I can show you how to lose 50 pounds. But think about that. They struggled most of their life trying to be in shape. Why not talk to two people that we've never struggled in that area? Perfect? No. Struggled? Not even close. So that's another thing. Again, you don't have to be the most educated with all the degrees, all the certifications, but you should have some. And you should have experience. And then the third thing, icing on the cake, man, your coach should look the part. These trying to be, sensitive and soft, like, oh, well, they're nice. Nice is not going to get you in shape. Sweet, cute, whatever, it's not going to get you in shape. do you surround yourself with people that are doing it? And in this industry, I think that's very important. We know what it takes to get to the 3 to 5%. We know what it takes to go further than that. And we know because we have once had those dreams and aspirations of some sort. Us falling short is just because the Lord had something different for us. We are here at this appointed time doing this video for others out there to have a blueprint so that, you know, you don't have to go through the same struggles, and giving, I think, the correct resources, right? If this is not opinion based, this has all been thought out. We are here, and go ahead.
No, I'm just thinking of like a couple of people that we've had from different backgrounds. Like we had a runner, like runs marathons, come to us and say, had a marathon that's coming up, and you know, I need to make sure I can run this marathon faster than I did last year, and da 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 da. So you can take over the story if you want, because she was having the conversation with you.
So I said, you know, I'll only train you if you take away 70% of the running. It's like, coach, but I'm running a marathon. I said, yeah, you know, your body knows how to run. There's other things that we need to build up to help support that run, right? There's other things that I can already see deficiencies, because she's a client. So we can see the deficiencies. So the running's not the problem. It's surviving the run. So she took away 75% of her running app that she was doing, and she did Alpha Sports Performance training protocol for, I think, about 6 weeks, give or take. I believe she broke a record, and she was the only one that finished in her group.
In her group
that she went with. And she ran a time that she thought she would never run. And that's just one.
That's one.
And then you had what?
No, and then I was thinking of client family that we have recently that have come in that used to do some CrossFit and just, you know, and running. So just, you know, achy knees and achy hips. These are just things they've been telling us. So it's been what, about how many weeks now?
No more than 6.
About, yeah. Somewhere around like a month.
Yeah.
And he said today.
It's just like he's a believer. Like, you know, he sees the way. He has bought into the alpha theory, and it has proven to be far superior than his past training exercises. And I'll just leave it at that, because, you know, again, we're not here.
He says he's feeling good.
Yeah.
He says that his soreness is like, it's like a different soreness.
Yeah.
So sometimes you still get, I mean, he's on a very different routine than he's been. So his body's going through different phases of adapting.
Older athlete too. So not a spring chicken. So,
yeah.
You know, for all you guys that think you're too old. Yeah.
Right. So, well, there you go. Yeah. That's kind of that's where we're going to leave some of that. We'll go into some other kind of like details. But, if you are an athlete, if you are a mom, a dad, a professional, a human being, and you value your health, and you want to have a program that and I'm going to use the word fun, but when I say fun, I mean something that you enjoy doing, something that you can do for several days a week. Like you can literally train every day.
And you can go hard. Week,
and it not be overkill.
And
we'll go more into that and how we program our training to allow you to do that so that it doesn't become overtraining. Then sports performance is the way.
We'll see you soon. We appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe, leave, you know, good comments, like questions, things that you want us to talk about, how you want us to describe certain things. And guys, we're here for you. This YouTube channel was built for you. We want to get this information out. We are local in Longwood, Florida. So anyone in the area, come see us, but we'll catch you on the next episode.
Peace.
Bye for now.